Hey guys, it's Postbox Pat. Welcome back to a new building tutorial video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys some pro tips and tricks that anyone will be able to master. These tricks don't require fast building, don't require insane training. All they do is require a little bit of knowledge that I'm going to give you guys in this video, and you can use these building tips and tricks in any build fight or any situation in Fortnite Battle Royale. So before we get too far into this video, I just want to say I'm going to be adding a bunch of subscribers, so if you guys want to get involved with my videos and also play with me on Fortnite, you can enter your Epic Games name down below in the comment section or your Xbox gamer tag, and I'll be sure to add roughly around 50 of you guys. I'm hoping to get a few people added on my friends list, so I've got some regular people to play with, so go ahead and comment down your name down below. Also, if you guys are using my code PostboxPat, you can go and tweet me or message me in my Discord for a shout out, or simply just put in the comment section I'm using your code or something, and I'll be sure to give you guys a heart if I spot it. And it's absolutely awesome for everybody who has been showing support, so you can see them people on screen right now getting a shout out. Anyway, let's jump straight into this and show you guys exactly some of these pro building tips. Okay, so the first one I've got for you guys is actually a wall breach. Now to do this, I'm going to be demonstrating these extremely slow so you understand how to do them, but simply place a pyramid while you're stood next to the pyramid and the wall, and the pyramid will highlight yellow and you'll glitch through the wall like that if you push forward on your control or keyboard, and obviously that will glitch you through while you're shooting it and they're placing walls, and it's a really awesome technique to pull off. Okay, so moving on to the second one, I'm going to show you guys one of two sniper peeks that you guys can use. You don't have to snipe for these, you can use any weapon through it really, but simply what you do is you put a window on the right hand side, build a 1 by 1, and then what you have to do is place the V pyramid, as I like to call it. It's like an upside down V when you look at it from a certain angle, and it actually creates a little hole where you can actually peek through and snipe through. It's really awesome in certain situations, but most likely you probably won't use this one because the other one is more useful. But if you do come to that situation in a build fight, or in a situation maybe where you're last alive in the circle, or not obviously not last alive, but 1 of 5 or something, and you want to build this because you've got a pyramid in front of you, you can quickly create it, maybe edit it really fast. I'm doing everything purposely slow so you understand what I'm doing, but you know, it can work out pretty well. But do consider the material you're doing it out of. As you can see here, I built it out of metal and it just doesn't work very well. It still works, but the hole is a lot smaller, so it works better if you're doing it out of wood. Third tip and trick I've got for you guys requires you to be in a 1 by 1 when someone's spraying at you. Now this one really works when someone tries and pushes above you. Simply what you do is you place a stair to cover you, and while they're pushing above you, you simply can trap them like that and then place a trap there next to them. It's actually quite effective because when you place the pyramid above their stair, that's what traps them in. That'll keep them kind of locked in. They'll be a little bit confused, and if you do it a lot faster than I did, obviously in an ideal situation I'd do it a lot faster. I'm just trying to demonstrate it the best I can. It'll work better if you pull that off correctly. Next, we have a trap technique that I use all the time. For those that watch all of my content, you guys will know on the actual food fight game mode, I just love using traps and trolling people, and this is a technique which I do all the time to kind of dodge traps. It's simply a 1 by 1 type thing, but you just simply place a door like that, and if you open the door, it will actually work to dodge the trap. Now sometimes you have to consider it, because if you actually raise this by 1, I'll show you guys exactly what happens here when he runs through like that. You can see obviously my trap doesn't kill the opponent, but if you raise the door and have it as like a full wall like I'm doing right now, sometimes it can trigger. Now it's only sometimes, it's not 100%, but sometimes it does trigger depending on the speed you watch. You've got to be careful, but it can be efficient as well. But I recommend, just for safety, make it a little bit lower and make it a lot easier for you guys. So be careful with that, guys, with that one, but it does work pretty well. And obviously, if what I do on a lot of maps and stuff, I have the door open the other way and players don't realize there's going to be a trap in there. I usually have it on the ceiling sometimes, and it just works out really well. Like, this is something I do sometimes as well. I'll build like kind of a little entrance to it, you can see here like that, and then what I'll do is I'll put doors on all the entrances. This would be in like maybe the construction building and tilted towers. I actually did it on one of the scrims game modes, or whatever you want to call them, like the competition type things, and I did really well, and I ended up getting about 6 kills using this trap technique. And obviously I wouldn't put a pyramid on top, I'd usually use wood or stone for it, or brick should I say, and people would either get damaged and I finished them off, or I'd end up getting a bunch of kills from it and getting a bunch of loot and moving all the loot out of it. I usually move the loot out of it, maybe leave a shotgun or something so it doesn't look very obvious. Don't usually do it out of metal, but maybe one piece, and people just run through thinking it's like it's been like an action zone. They're not really bothered, they're not considering a trap being there, and it works really well. Something you can try out in any game mode. The next one I've got for you guys is breaking into a structure. Simply breaking into a structure is pretty effective right here. What you can do actually is you can break the side piece, and what it will do is it will break the actual flat. I'll replay that for you guys right now. You see, as I break this, I break the flat, which is the one below the pyramid. I replace the flat, they don't realize, and then I break the pyramid, replace the pyramid, and then obviously by doing that it allows me to edit through and take them both out. Anyway, moving on to the next one for you guys, which is a pretty effective one as well. This is actually one of the bases which I have kind of come up with. A lot of people do this all the time. I haven't exactly come up with it. I've seen so many people do it in game. My friends were just showing at me what they always do as well. This is just a really good peak that I use. You basically edit that like a kind of the bottom 3 triangle pieces. So you can see here it's just the bottom 3. So I edit them, and then obviously it creates that little peek hole there that you can kind of peek through and take a little snipe off and take someone out really easily. Thanks to the people in game, by the way. They were my friends on Discord. They were really helping me out. We did a really good job competing in some of these kind of challenges and stuff and just demonstrating to each other, and that one to me was probably my favorite one out of the lot, just because it's so awesome to be able to create a base out of it. You can see here we've created a few different designs out of different materials and stuff. You can see the hole sometimes is a different size, and if you're in this situation on Battle Royale, you've got some really good positions to kind of line yourself up to take people out really easily and stuff, and obviously it can be quite nice if you position that correctly. Sometimes be careful though, because obviously your stairs do stick up, so you might want to put a pyramid on top of you so you don't exactly 100% see that kind of railing that's sticking up, but it is pretty effective. Anyway, moving on to the next one. This is something that is pretty cool. You guys are going to love this. This is going to allow you to see through the actual roof. So simply set this to the V-shaped one, as I like to call it. Try not to be underneath it. I'm just showing you guys exactly what the V-shaped one is there, but if you actually lift it up in one corner, so stand to one corner, then lift up the V-shape so you're in the lower section, then when you jump up, you're actually up on the pyramid. Now edit the pyramid so it floats up in the air with all 4 pieces, and then you will be able to see through the pyramid. This is a little bit like the way Fortnite used to work in the past, but this is a new technique you can do by editing to actually get a view of where anybody is. It's a really cool technique, and I love using it in Battle Royale. Overall, this technique gives me an advantage on positioning and awareness of where the players are actually going, and even seeing maybe where the circle is going to go next, kind of like positioning with the route I'm going to take. So it's pretty awesome. I do really like it. You know, you can kind of position yourself perfect for a perfect kind of win, really. I've done it a few times recently in season 8. So check this one out though, guys. This again is a pretty effective one. This is another way of kind of viewing. Takes a little bit longer to set up. You simply have to do the 2 triangles in the corner there like that and create the triangle pieces, and what you do now is you lift this up again, creating the V shape. Make sure you do it so it's facing outwards like that, and using this glitch here, what you can actually do is you can kind of reset your pyramid so it all goes down to the bottom and see out in one direction. I personally prefer the one in the roof. However, this one can be useful as well if you're pointing a certain direction, maybe on the edge of the circle or something. However, people might realize you're inside of here, and obviously if you built it like that and it's pointing in some direction, if people are aware of the trick or the tips and tricks, be aware you can't use a door to exit either. You have to fully edit out. But if people are aware, you know, you've got to be careful because they will know you're there. Whereas the pyramid one on the roof, much more effective because obviously it's like less noticeable. Like obviously people won't really think it looks like unusual or anything like that, and also if you do it out of metal, you're pretty much going to be covered. Whereas if you do it out of wood, obviously you know that you're more likely to be seen through wood. Then next up is stone, where you still are likely to be seen but not as much as wood, and then metal is not 100% but like 99%, I wouldn't say that, but like 95% cover up, so you're pretty much safe inside of a metal one. I do it all the time, put a metal cone on top, even if I built like a stone 1 by 1, and it works really well. The final one I've got for you guys is pretty effective as well. This is actually something which is recent in season 8. This one's pretty cool because you can actually drop down onto launch pads, and what I'm trying to demonstrate here for you guys is when you actually drop down, you can survive fall damage due to being able to place launch pads instantly by placing a trap. So simply select your traps, and while you're falling, if you place the launch pad perfectly, you will actually land straight onto the launch pad. Extremely careful with this one though, as you just saw in that gameplay. If the surface isn't flat, it can glitch out and you'll instantly die. Obviously because I'm on creative, that wouldn't happen, but you can see that I saved myself again using the launch pad. It wasn't really 100% fall, but like this one here, 100% fall. You time it perfectly and you will get that launch pad to work. You've got to be careful though. Like I said, if it is not flat, you will take a lot of fall damage and you could end up dying from it, and it has happened to me a few times. I don't really like to say it, but it has, and I do it all the time, and just like that, I'm not the best at it, but you know, pull it off, get it right, practice it a little bit in creative like I'm doing, and you will eventually be able to pull it off every single time. And if you can do that, you will survive a lot of falls if you know you have a launch pad. The next thing I want to show you guys isn't really a building tips and trick, but I guess it kind of leads into that because it's actually where to grind materials. Now there are 2 spots that I love to get max materials near enough instantly. It's not exactly instantly, it takes about a minute or so, and these are the 2 spots I land almost every single game if I want materials. And the first one is to get a good amount of materials from Polar, this is what I do. I simply mine the throne. This gives you absolute tons of stone, which is amazing. Almost 200 stone just from that chair alone, then including the floor piece, that'll give you over 200 stone. And then what I'll do is I'll break through the floor here to go down to the floor underneath. Unfortunately, I should have really gone back when I've done it, but it doesn't really matter, it just gives me extra stone anyway. And then what you do, you end up inside of this room here. All of these chairs will give you a great ton of wood, almost enough for 500, not exactly, but if you go outside and destroy some of the trees, you'll be guaranteed 500 wood from them. It's just short of 500 this. Obviously there's other places in Polar Peak where you can get more stuff, but this gets you about 400 doing this technique. And you can see here, it's really awesome. I've got absolute tons of stone there, and then there are a few side things as well, these two here, which will give you about 20-ish wood each, a little bit less there, but you can see a good amount of resources in almost no time at all. So I recommend landing at Polar. You can also try out a few other areas as well in Polar. You can simply just mine these kind of bookshelves if you need a little bit of extra wood. You can also go for the trees outside, and then on the floor above you also have a few kind of pillars which give a good amount of stone. I wouldn't really recommend doing this unless you've got spare time in Polar. Maybe if the circle hasn't formed yet, just simply mine these pillars, and if you mine them all, guaranteed almost 500 brick. If you're really that bothered about getting bang on 500, obviously do this, but you know, it's not the end of the world if you've got like 450. Next up is over at Lazy Lagoon. Simply, these pirate ship sails drop absolute tons of wood. You've just got to remember to mine like the huge stem of it really, rather than the base, because the base doesn't give you that much wood. It still gives you a good chunk, but I recommend focusing on the stem. If you destroy the base, the stem will get destroyed and you won't get the wood advantage. And I think this will probably get nerfed in the next week or so, because you can basically get 500 wood just from these 3 stems alone, which is just insane. Like, landing here and destroying these is just insane. Now what's awesome about this, you can actually rotate in the cannons across the way, and that also is a great area for mining stone. Metal seems a little scarce in this update, which is annoying. I wish there was more metal around the map all over. It's a little bit unfortunate that there's no metal like areas exactly. I can't find any huge metal grind areas just yet, but I guess we may see that as the map starts to change throughout the season. You can simply see what I do here is I fire my cannonball over this direction, and then unfortunately I do take a little bit of fall damage from this, but it doesn't really matter. You can see these stones here are going to give you absolute tons of stone as well. So simply sit here and mine these stones. I was a little bit cautious because I could hear someone around me, so simply what I was doing is just kind of crouching, making sure I'm keeping aware of my area, looking out for people. So obviously if I wasn't cautious and I just wanted to go full for materials, you're going to get these materials in less than a minute if you pull it off with a perfect speed run. But you don't always have to pull it off with a speed run. It doesn't really matter how quickly you do this. When it comes to duos and squads, you obviously may want to land different areas, because not everybody can get a match from this. Only one person can do it, but it's useful. It's helpful. I really enjoy it. This route is insane. I didn't even destroy all the stones, and I've already got 500 brick and 498 wood, so pretty awesome. But I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If this has helped you out with some tips and tricks on the building and editing side, and also some material runs that I use all the time, I really do hope it has helped you. And if it has, do consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell to keep up to date with the latest Fortnite Battle Royale content. I mainly cover storyline and map change content on my channel, but I do tips and tricks from time to time, and I'm going to plan on doing more of them in the future. Again, if you haven't already entered my support creator code into the item shop for a shout out, make sure you guys go and do that. I love giving you guys shout outs in videos, so simply go and tweet me at postboxpat or message me on my Discord. Also guys, don't forget to go down below and comment your Epic Games name or your gamer tag, and I'll be sure to add a few of you guys as well. And once again, this is postboxpat signing out.